All right, I have my daughter Paige with me today because we just finished a project in her bedroom. I had to patch a hole that was about that big.
He did it.
Yes, I did it. I caused the hole, and there's a way to prevent that. I'm gonna show you how to prevent it. I'm gonna show you the exact way to patch it so that it looks great in this episode of Keeping Home Up. All right, let's start with the supplies we're gonna need. Now I had this wall repair patch left over from another project I had done, so we'll use that, plus a putty knife and some joint compound. You can buy this in a much smaller size. This is a gallon size. You can actually get it in a quart if you need it in that size. Now that we've gathered all our supplies, let's fix this hole. This is a look at the hole that we need to fix. I'm gonna take my patch kit first and decide how much of it I need. And then I'm just gonna use a pair of regular scissors and cut out exactly what I'm gonna need to cover that hole. And when you cut it, you'll wanna cut it so that there's about 1.5 to 2 inches beyond the hole so that you have plenty of room to work with when you stick it on the wall. Now, if you've ever seen that mesh tape, this patch kit is a lot like that mesh tape. It's just mesh and it's sticky on one side. So when you peel off the back like that, it sticks right to the hole, which is really nice because it makes it a lot easier to add joint compound. And then once we've stuck the patch on there, we can grab the putty knife and start putting the joint compound over the hole. And as you can see, that joint compound is going really nicely over that patch. Now what we'll do is we'll cover the entire patch and then we'll overlap it a little bit as well so that when we sand it, we can feather it out and make it look like that hole was never there. And then we'll let that first coat dry overnight, and then I came in and I sanded it down and did a second coat over the first coat. And then I waited until the next day again. Now you don't always have to wait till the next day, especially with that second coat because it's a lot lighter. But I just like to wait anyway. If you would like, you could do the second coat in the morning and then put on the finish in the afternoon. But this is the way I decided to do it. Okay, now that this is done, we are ready for the wall text. Now the wall text, what you do is you just shake this can for a good minute or so. And you can pick this up at Lowe's, Home Depot. I actually got this one at Walmart because I went to Lowe's this morning and they didn't have this type. It was super expensive. This one was about 12 bucks and the one at Lowe's was about $20. So I picked this one up at Walmart. So you shake this real well for about a minute and then you hold it about, I would say 6 to 8 inches away and spray it on there. Then you should be good. If you want, it's always a good idea, if you want, you can practice on some cardboard before you actually put it on the wall. Looking at this texture here, I can tell it's kind of a heavy texture. So I'm just gonna use the heavy setting that's on here. There's a dial that you can turn to make it lighter or heavier. And I'm gonna go towards the heavy side because of the way the wall looks. So we'll go ahead and get that done. Now here's something I should mention that I didn't mention before, and that's after each sanding, it helps to wipe the area down with either a dry rag or with something called a tack cloth. A tack cloth is just a cloth that's a little bit sticky on one side, so when you wipe it down, it will take some of that excess chalk dust off the wall. You know, after that first spray, I thought, oh man, I wish I had done that first spray on a cardboard box because you can see it kind of clumps there, but I worked with it and made it look better. And then once you're done spraying, it's a good idea to clean out the nozzle. It takes about an hour for that wall text to dry. Now, when I paint an area this big, I don't like to put just the paint over it. I like to prime it first. So I took a Kills primer and I went over everything with a water-based Kills primer. And what that's gonna help it do is make it so there's no flashing. Flashing means that you'll have dull spots in some parts and shiny spots in others. And you definitely don't want that. Priming will help avoid that. After you put the primer on, wait an hour, then put the top coat on. Now, as we wait for that primer to dry, remember at the beginning of the video, I told you I'm gonna tell you how to make sure this never happens again. Well, how this happened in the first place is the door stop had fallen off. And I opened the door too hard and put the doorknob right through the wall. So to make sure that didn't happen again, we fixed the door stop. Now with the doorstop fixed, that should never happen again. After you prime the wall, it's time to put the top coat on. The previous owners, after they painted the room, had left some of the paint in the garage for us, and it ended up matching perfect. Now this is the way to go. Trying to match it is difficult. So whenever you paint a room or anything like that, be sure to keep a little bit on hand in case you have any touch-ups you need to do in the future. And once that paint dries, you shouldn't even notice that there was a hole there. So it ended up looking great. And then here's a close-up of that wall. You can see the texture is a little bit different, but it's not so different that anybody's really gonna notice. Okay, I fixed my mistake. It's done. Paige, what do you think?
I really like it.
She loves it. She's happy. If she's happy, I'm happy. Hey, you guys want to check out her page? She has a page she just started on 3D printing. So if you know anybody who loves 3D printing or loves getting into 3D printing, it's 3D Prints by Paige, right? And it's amazing. She bought the 3D printer herself. She saved up for it, and she's already making things. So I'm pretty proud of her. Proud dad. She's like, oh brother. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel and Paige's. Check out Paige's, and we'll see you in the next one.